How did I transition from being a Jehovah's Witness to becoming a pagan witch? My name is Eva, and I also go by the Northern Goddess. I was actually born in Soviet Latvia. So, Soviet Latvia was officially an atheist country at the time. However, with Latvians, they have always been very strongly pagan and they've never really lost that identity, even when in 1200s the German Crusaders invaded Latvia and they colonized it and made it into a Christian country. So whilst now the independent Latvia is officially a Christian country, it still is underneath it all. It is still traditionally very, very pagan. The traditions and the rituals and everything that comes with it is still very much alive and it is not going anywhere. And also, if you look at the history, Latvia and Lithuania share similar language and also the same sort of deities and beliefs and traditions. So the only difference is the way they pronounce the names of the deities, but generally Latvians and Lithuanians are sister countries and I wouldn't call it religion, but their beliefs are basically the same thing, but with just slight differences in pronunciation. Even though growing up in Soviet Latvia for the first 10 years, obviously nobody was allowed to go to churches or have a Bible or read the Bible. But the point was that I was still being brought up with the pagan traditions. So we were still doing all the festivals and all the traditional events and celebrated things like the summer solstice under the name of Yarni, which is still going strong and has been for centuries, and all the other things like using the runes and symbols in clothing and wearing traditional. So that is very much still part of Latvian culture, and it's, even though a Latvian can go to a church on a Sunday morning, in the afternoon he or she would easily go and do a pagan ritual. It's just normal. It's how it is, always has been and always will be. So when Latvia became independent in 91, people were suddenly allowed to go to churches, own a Bible. So I didn't know anything about it. It was something very new to me. So I met Jehovah's Witnesses in 96 when I was 14 and a half. And to me, they were just another group who were, as far as we were aware, just helping people sort of understand the Bible. Under that guise, I got involved with Jehovah's Witnesses because I genuinely thought they were just there to help me learn about the Bible. Fast forward, around 6 months after I met them, I became a Jehovah's Witness, and I genuinely at the time believed that they were genuine, real Christians. So I know there's a lot of debate about whether Jehovah's Witnesses are Christians by other Christian denominations, and I have to say that as far as Jehovah's Witnesses are concerned, they believe they are Christians. They incorporate Jesus in their beliefs, even though the main focus is on Jehovah or Yahweh, which is the God of the Bible. So as far as I'm concerned, I was a Christian for 22 years, even though I was also at the same time I was a Jehovah's Witness. So what happened was in 2018, I officially left Jehovah's Witnesses as the teachings and beliefs rules no longer resonated with me. I didn't want that life for me or my children. And I have a book coming out soon at the end of March that describes the whole process and everything about Latvia, what I learned about Jehovah's Witnesses, how they operate, and it's going to be a very interesting read. So if that's something that interests you, follow me for updates when I will be adding a live link in my bio. And that link will allow you to order my book if you want to learn more about Jehovah's Witnesses, Soviet Latvia, being an immigrant, and also how to deconstruct yourself from a high control religion. So when I left Jehovah's Witnesses, I decided that I was going to explore other alternative beliefs, faiths, religions, and my only choice was not to explore Abrahamic religions. So I didn't look into things like Judaism or the Muslim faith, simply because it's all based on the Abrahamic. Whilst I'm very respectful of people's beliefs, it's just not something for me, and I no longer believe in the Bible in general. Christianity and those offshoots are not for me, but obviously everyone believes what they want to believe. This is not about debating religions. This is about my story of how I became a pagan witch after being a Jehovah's Witness. So I started with exploring Buddhism, New Age, Hinduism, even things like the Nordic traditions. So I was simply learning about other beliefs, other faiths, religions, traditions, and I wanted to see what resonates with me. And there were things that I found in each of those things that felt right but not full. So also around that time I was introducing my children into what is their heritage, because even though they're born in England and raised in England, they are English, their dad is English. Obviously Latvia is still part of their cultural heritage, because I came over to UK when I was 18. So I purchased some books to help him understand more about what Latvian paganism is, the deities and symbolism. As I was reading it, it obviously brought back a lot of memories. And it felt like that was something I needed to bring back into my life to honour my ancestors. And also it felt like a reclamation of those lost roots. Even though I don't technically subscribe to the specific maybe deities or ritual, I still take in many traditions, and also I honor those runes and symbols, the deities. But I find that a lot of things that I've discovered is that across all cultures there are archetypes, and I find those archetypes repeat themselves. So something can be the same under a different name. So, which is why, after also learning about my Slavic heritage, because according to my DNA, obviously my father was Latvian, but my mother was adopted, and later on we found out that she actually has Russian, Belarusian, Ukrainian DNA. So I was also brought up with the Russian culture during the Soviet Union, and it wasn't anything foreign to me. I already knew a lot, and I just felt like I need to embrace my heritage, my ancestry, but also make it my own. I don't want to subscribe to any kind of limitations around that. So my spirituality is my personal relationship with the spirit, the universe, the source. And I also believe, and as obviously the quantum physics say, everything is energy. So to me, that made sense that I would return to being a Baltic Slavic pagan, doing witchcraft, doing like little rituals according to what I was taught growing up, or what I know. And that feels very much me. It makes me happy. And whilst I am respectful towards other people's faiths, and unfortunately Christians especially aren't always respectful towards someone like me, the fact is that that was my journey from being a Jehovah's Witness to claiming back my ancestral right. So if that's something of interest to you, if you want to know more, please feel free to pop a question. And I thank you for watching this video, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.